Hi, it's Jane Mason here from Virtuous Bread, and I wanted to do a little video for you to troubleshoot making a sourdough starter. So if you've been following along with the sourdough start along, you might have hit day 5. So for the past 4 days, you've been putting flour and water together in a bowl, and on day 5, your starter should be bubbly on the top. It might have separated a bit, but there should be a lot of activity in the starter. So that if you take a little spoonful of it and just dribble it into a glass of water, it should float on the surface of the water. If it's not bubbly and it's not floating on the surface of the water, any number of things could have gone wrong. So firstly, let's talk about the things that could have gone wrong, and secondly, we'll talk about how to correct it. So the first thing you might want to do is check the sell-by date on your flour. Your flour really should be within its sell-by date, and if it isn't, I think you might want to start again with some fresh flour. Second thing, the reality is, unless you're living in the tropics or in the southern hemisphere, it's still cold. Kitchens could be quite cold at night, and if your kitchen is dropping much below 20 degrees at any point, the starter could be pretty sluggish to take. So the way to avoid that is when you're making your starter, every day cover it and put it in the oven with the light on. Light bulbs actually generate an enormous amount of heat, and that creates a nice warm environment where a starter is much more likely to take. And the third thing you might want to think about, and I know this sounds a bit crazy, but just right now with the coronavirus, we're all frantically disinfecting. And if you're using, harsh chemical cleaners to clean your dishes, to clean all of the surfaces in your home, if you've done this super duper amazing deep clean and you're doing it regularly, your house might be too clean. Really, really. The yeast that lives in the air, they are sensitive. They probably like a few germs. So it could be that your house is just a bit clean at the moment. And I know that sounds a bit depressing, because it could be that maybe you're not going to be able to make one until things go back to normal, and this is exactly the time when you want to make one. But let's leave that as a kind of third and distant reason. So if you have the starter that has not taken yet, don't do anything yet. Just cover it, put it in the oven with the light on, and leave it for another 12 hours, and then have a look and see, and then maybe it will have woken up a bit with the heat. If that doesn't work, let's take two scenarios. You have a rye starter and you have a wheat starter. So with the rye starter, take about everything out of the bowl except for about 100 grams of the rye starter. Okay? And then what you want to do is, to that 100 grams of rye starter, add about 100 grams of rye flour and 200 grams of water. Stir it up, cover it, and put it back in the fridge overnight. And really, really, within 12 to 24 hours, you should have a viable starter. With the wheat starter, take out everything except about 100 grams, add 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of water. Give it a stir, cover it, put it in the oven with the light on. Now, you don't have to throw away that old starter. The best thing to do with it, the easiest thing to do with it, is to make pancakes. Okay? So make a pancake batter, your favorite pancake batter, scrape all that old starter into the pancake batter. It's kind of the same consistency as pancake batter, and you'll actually have completely delicious pancakes. A little bit tangy, a little bit sour, very flavorful, super, with, lemon and sugar or maple syrup or whatever you want. So there's some troubleshooting ideas, there's possible solution, and something to do with the old starter. Now, if none of that works, email me, jane@virtuousbread.com. We can set up a call to discuss it, or we'll do some troubleshooting by email. Okay, now, but I really hope it does work for you. It's always worked for me, but these are weird times. Okay? Hope you're well, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.